Thank you for the fantastic introduction. How is my audio coming through?
We can hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. I hope everybody had a fantastic original Brexit holiday. We really enjoyed ours. And now it's back to business. So Brad, as you know, often I say the same things because, you know, I kind of forget things and repeat them, but
as older people do.
As older people do. But you know that this could be the best webinar we've ever done.
Well, it's a shortened week, so it's power-packed. I know we've put a lot of great features.
Oh, yeah.
And we haven't stopped, so it's good stuff.
Well, there's going to be a lot going on this one. And ladies and gentlemen, put your seatbelts on. Before we get started, Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. All the information that myself and Brad and Scott or anyone else in this webinar is going to present has no implications to solicit a purchase or sale of any kind of securities. If you're doing that, please consult a registered investment advisor. So before we got on here, Brad was talking to me about the slide. He's like, oh, see you slipped the logo in there. And I said, Brad, you know, people will want to remember like a lot of the cool stuff that we put in here. And especially, I kind of wanted everyone to know that, Brad, how old is this logo?
Probably about 7 years.
7 years, way before the AI was invented.
No question.
But we knew what was coming for a reason. Like, that's one of the cool things when I look back on like some of the stuff that we're doing is that we had the kind of foresight that like it was easy for us to see which way things were going. And on the funny part is that we've been listening to all of you investors tell us what you need. Since 2003, we've probably heard more and more requests for features and relative strength indicator and this and that. And now it's the all popular
Ichimoku.
Ichimoku. I can't wait till the next one comes out. And I want to take a brief moment right now, okay, to talk about why all of this stuff is complete bullshit. Okay, now Brad, aside from the fact that this is a Q&A webinar for Trade Ideas, it really is important for us to help investors, active investors, get through the basics of the first hurdle. What is it? People often don't even know. What is the first hurdle? They're like, well, do I need to be a certified financial planner, or do I need to read a book on technical analysis, or do I need, and people have no idea, and they have no idea because, again, there's an industry that's involved in making you feel like you can do it, and they've done an amazing job. So let me talk a little bit about like the psychology of indicators and the psychology of needing confirmation before you make an investment. Okay, so Brad, I am going to bring something in. I hope it really works. I'm going to expand it out. This is about like 15 seconds, and I'm telling you guys, listen to this. This is one of the best things like that you can listen and take in as it relates to investing. Use your imagination a little bit. Again, I want to be here not just simply peddling the Trade Ideas products and, you know, talking about features, because that we do that a lot. But there's the philosophical aspect, right, Brad? There's that bigger life living kind of aspect, and that's some of the stuff that I want to elaborate on before we jump into the tech. So, Brad, are you ready?
I'm sitting. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Here we go.
That's like the great illusion of it all, right? You're trying. I don't want to take psychedelics. I'm afraid of losing control. That you're not in control right now. Your fucking fear's in control.
Ooh,
your lust is in control. Yeah. All of these things are actually controlling you right now. And this thing that you're saying, I'm worried about losing control, it's really actually gaining control. It's like the whole backwards game. Why big joke of the universe? Like, yeah, I don't want to lose control. I like being in control. Motherfucker, you're so far from being in control. You know, you got the...
So Brad, do you think everyone was able to hear that?
Yeah, I mean, you could read the subtitles too. It came through.
So, ladies and gentlemen, listen very carefully. Ultimately, the investing world, and we will, again, dive deep into it, but it really boils down to just do it. It boils down to Nike. And at Trade Ideas, the reason I brought the logo beforehand is that we are both a technology and a people that are trying to lift the veil off of the financial market so you can really see the incredible potential and also, of course, take advantage. So a lot of the technology that Brad and I are going to be demonstrating today and going over, and Brad, we're going to talk about the open house as well, aren't we?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's coming up not next week, but the week after.
Right, so we'll discuss all of that. But remember what I was just saying, the video about fear. You think you want that magic indicator because you want control, because you want to believe, well, when something touches that indicator, well, then something that you think is going to happen. But ain't nothing going to happen. It's bullshit. It'll happen one time and it won't happen another time. Ultimately, risk management is 90% of what you need to do. It's very similar to being physically fit. You know, Brad, as you probably know, you and I are in excellent shape, being the scratch golfers that we are.
Could always be better, but yes.
Yes, to be in the kind of shape that we are. And by the way, you know, we're not in bad shape, so it's not all fun and games being self-deprecating. We're in pretty good shape. But the point is, to do it, if you really want to succeed at it, you have to realize that it's not really about working out. It's about what you put in your body. So investing, it's a similar thing. It's not really about the indicators. It's about being able to manage the situation. How do you manage trading? That is ultimately the real question that we're going to be talking about answering. And we're going to answer it technologically. And Brad, you know what the goddamn best part is? That we solve both of these things in one area. We give you the advantaged what, but we also show you the proper how to. And that's really what we're going to be discussing when we showcase the software live. But before we do that, I want to finish off the presentation part, of course, so that everyone remembers, and for those of you that are new to the webinar or just interested in trade ideas, one of the things that we do is we have a free trading room where Barry Anderson, amazing trade moderator, walks you through the proper use cases of the software. How do people, good people with good trading acumen, risk management acumen, how do they use this technology to fish for alpha? We have, as you can see in the left-hand corner, if you're following my mouse, at any point in time between 4, 5, and sometimes even 600 people, and there's going to be more because of the open house. And it's a great meritocracy where the community is lifting itself higher and higher by always showcasing what's going on. I mean, literally, no important move is ever missed because everyone is on it. And again, we show the screen and questions are answered. It's probably one of the better ways that we interface with the trading community. And again, all free. So Brad, are you ready to jump right into the software?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, we're going to first go to Trade Ideas for Development. I'll hit OK. So I am loading things up. And here I go. So for those of you, again, that are not aware, this is Trade Ideas Pro, and it's kind of like, the best way to say it is forget about like desktop software. This is your search engine for opportunities. I mean, that's why our software is called Trade Ideas. You're on a channel. Notice you're on the After Hours channel. Why is that, Brad? I think it's because the market's closed.
Well, this is where we can look at things that are moving after hours, right?
Absolutely. So one of the other things that I really want you to show to really see clearly. And this is something that we've added very recently, and I believe now it is in the latest beta.
It is, yeah. And the latest beta is on the website. Everything's in it except for the playback feature. That's
okay. Right, which we'll showcase. Did you notice my sense of confidence as I was like,
yeah, I know.
I knew it all along. Anyway, so in this feature, remember what we talked about in the presentation, getting rid of the fear. In this feature, we added this super cool, like, little jump in innovation where any stock at any point in time, we give you a visual representation of what our software thinks is the proper stop price and profit target for a relatively short-term trade. Now, mind you, what that means is short-term means today. So if you were going to be getting in today at this point, because the software says, well, at any point in time, so it's whenever it is, this is your stop, this is your profit target. And of course here what you do has to do with more of your specific profile. But the beauty that I really think separates us from anyone else is that no matter which stock it is, you now get the answer to, here's your stop, here's what it looks like on a 5-minute chart. So if you bought it at 32.79, which is roughly speaking where it's at, your stop would be at 32.21. So you know exactly what you need to do, and this is where it utilizes our technology because our stops are not simply visual, they're quantitative. In other words, the software is looking at the 15-minute average volatility and various other factors. That's why we call it the smart stop. And the beauty is that as the market moves, this will adjust. So it'll move in accordance with where the stock is. So if you actually end up getting in at a better price, it almost becomes, Brad, like a trailing stop for you.
Yep.
And I want to re-emphasize the fact that regardless what you trade, here's a Bank of America. Here's the S&P SPY ETF, or Alio Gold Corp, a much smaller stock. No matter what it is, you now have the ability to not be as afraid because every single one has a smart metric for you. To me, creating successful technology in the space where we live, you know, in the market space, is really a combination of two things. Of course, it's opportunities and then trade management. Everything that we've done from the beginning of 2003 has made us the best on the opportunity detection. But what we realized is that opportunity detection, again, much like working out, it's what everybody loves, but it is just a part of the game. What happens afterwards? So that's what we are answering with what you see here. And again, all I'm doing right now is I'm perusing through the channels. I haven't modified anything, but what I do want to show you, and what I want to show especially the people who are new to the stock market, why are investors, like, why are you sitting here with 83 people listening to a genius talk about the stock market? Well, it's because in the stock market, these kind of things are happening. So you have a stock that was at 68 cents, and it goes to $2.39 over a course of 2 days. That kind of a percentage move, regardless of the why, is something that is so important for people who are in the game of stock market speculation to be aware of and participate in, that it can't be underemphasized. Look at the amount of volume. I mean, in this case, it does not matter whether you think it trades a lot or it doesn't trade a lot. 22 million, it covers everything. You know, you can be trading this kind of thing at 10,000 share blocks and it's still only, you know, $1.68. The point is, these are not the kind of names you're going to hear about on CNBC. So look at this. Okay, Brad, you and I have maybe said the speech that I'm about to reiterate 100 times now since we've done this webinar. I've explained that you and I grew up in the dot-com bubble where stocks like perfume.com, for example, went public. I don't even know if it went public or not, but it might have. And it was just silly. Like, they had literally nothing other than a website. Today, we're in a different environment where you have stocks that are looking for and getting close to finding important, like, cancer type cures. This is the biotech space. Biotech is creating the kind of opportunities that you as investors ought to be dreaming about. This is what I'm talking about. This is why people are here. This is why you are here. Look at what's happening. 32%, okay? 28%, 30%, and of course 143 and 88. So this was, of course, all over this channel, the social media channel. Why? Well, because in this particular case, the social media channel is watching and looking at stocks that are just being talked about insanely unusual amount. Okay? So all of these things kind of lead together to explain the kind of potential you can have and why you need to be aware and watching it. But of course, it was not just there. And this is, Brad, one of the other ways that I really love our technology, even though like we kind of thought about this before. Notice just real quick as I go back here, I like to teach Brad also because it's good for him to kind of understand how I do it.
Oh, Dan, yes.
Okay, so notice, Brad, here we have IMUC, CERU, JMP, MIOS, and MSDI, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
Got the social media stuff. But you go to Alpha Predator, which doesn't specifically look at those types of things. Well, all of a sudden they're reiterated again because they're doing like that kind of behavior that's hitting it on all different areas all at the same time. That helps you see things like, oh, what? And back again. So this means that this is a stock you want to be alerted to for tomorrow. You know, like set an alert right here, for example, and tell yourself that like, whoa, oh my. I do this way so that everyone understands that it doesn't have to be uber fancy and like phase 3 trial successful percentage out of sample rate of 0.01 was way better than, you know, guys, none of that matters because the momentum, once things start going, you have to go away from the fear of the need to control the situation and get right into the now, the just do it. So if I got in, well, Brad, I would right away know, again, if I got in here, there would be a smart stop area that would automatically adjust if this went up higher. It would probably be somewhere around here. But the beauty is, Brad, I don't have to think about it. You know why?
No, you don't. And I don't know if you said it. It's, you know, it's a lot bigger than it probably normally is because it looks at that range for today. It looks at the amount of volume that's going on, and it takes all those metrics to decide what that smart stop is. So there's a lot of algorithmic logic that goes into that.
That's right. And look at the relative volume. And so, and ask yourselves honestly, everybody here, like how many of you, again, unless you're Trade Ideas customers or you're just very into the market, how many of you were aware of these stocks doing what they were doing? Like look at, you know, notice how we are able to show you the data also in different ways. Look at, these are the guys with gigantic ranges.
Well, this is actually a great window right here because it does give you the ability to highlight what's special to Trade Ideas. I mean, we have a lot of stuff that's standard that you'll see other places, but we also have a tremendous amount of data that's really special and unique to Trade Ideas. That relative volume that you were showing, you can sort on it. That today's range, which is looking at, you know, that range, the high and the low for the day, and giving you that metric and comparing it to normal. You know, these are all very unique data points that we're allowing you to look through and fish through to find stocks, but ultimately that's what our AI is using. It's using those data points to try to find pockets of opportunity.
And all together, and what I love Brad, is that people who really kind of, first of all, notice everything can be moved around, right? And what I really like is sometimes being able to quickly grasp at concepts that help you kind of figure out what you want to do. Like, for example, the fact that JMP, by the way, is that our guy? Is that our buddy? I'm pretty sure that's our buddy. I know you're going to think I'm crazy.
Joe Jolson?
Yes! Okay, we know these people. We know these people, but that's a different story. But my point is, with JMP, you can tell that it was a big, like it was just a breakout push, okay? Because you have the positioning, year range, all of these are on 20-day highs, but these guys are in big turnaround modes, which Barry and I talk about, as well as like, look at IMUC. I mean, it's like somebody put the defibrillators on, you know, ka-king! Oh, it's alive!
Do a sort on the position in your range. Yeah, so you can see which guys are trading at 52-week highs, which guys are knocking on the door, getting close, and who's not.
Well, what you also see is that you can visualize kind of like the different things. Like here's these 20-day pushes. Like these are kind of like they're trying to reassess or reestablish their trends. And these guys right here, like including this one, they're kind of succeeding. And look, you can see that because of the 20, and do you see how this is starting to turn positive? So they're kind of in the upper end of that range. Whereas Dorm, by the way, is doing the opposite because of this. I mean, again, you don't even have to, it's like the Matrix. You can see it too. Notice how visually stimulating we specifically made these things pop to you. I mean, I love this. And of course, look at what this does. This is that space. You know, this is that kind of space where you can get the moves that make your dreams come true. Let me reiterate the dream. It's fun. It's okay to have fun with it, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's what we do. You must have some fun with it. But we make the fun incredible because, listen, this software now has a built-in trading training thing for you. Like you don't need a simulator because this is a simulator. You can limit trade by, like, every time you create an alert and it gets triggered, our software keeps tabs for you. So you know if you're doing well or not numerically. And my other colleagues, Jamie and Steve and Andy, and I mean, they reiterate that on many a webinar throughout our week, which is, by the way, also important to Brad mention that one of the ways that we as a group of people continue to communicate to our customer base is that constant availability of content that we put out throughout the week, which is what you are seeing here. Brad, why don't we answer a couple of questions real quick, just to make sure that.
Okay, so let me walk you through something because I've got a couple of people that want to know about custom formulas, and I want to add just a really simple one. I'm sure we won't stump you here. Would you mind bringing in a web page so we can show everybody how to get there?
Absolutely. Let me just start here and go to
tab in the interval support menu item, just stuff like that.
So let me log in. I believe I'm logged in. So I went to the account setting. Okay, so let me just back up real quick.
Yeah, it was just because this way we can show them the right way to get there, the easy way.
All right, so go ahead, Brad. You drive. I will discuss.
Okay.
I mean, so you tell me what to do. I will do it.
Go to the support tab, the support menu item up there.
So that's right here, support.
And select the account management option right there. And down at the bottom, you'll see an option for custom formulas.
Big buddy, your audio is cutting out.
Yeah, very much. So now let's go to the bottom of this page.
Now all this fancy stuff you see are just custom formulas that I have made throughout the year. But if you want to create a new one, what you have here
So before you do that, go ahead and right-click on Help and open that as a new tab. I always do this because I want to have the instruction manual kind of with me as I'm creating this. And it's a really simple thing. It's even a formula that we're going to put in here. But scroll down, Dan, a little bit more, the next page. And
keep going.
And the next, one more page. Yeah, one more. Okay, so in this page right here, yep, right there, stop right there.
Yep.
The second line it says, or third line it says SMA underscore 200. Go ahead and copy that. Yep. Okay, we can delete the comma. Now go back here, create new, and paste it right in there. Now remove the comma. There you go. Now call this the 200-day SMA.
F?
No, 200-day SMA.
Oh, 200-day SMA.
And units is going to be a $sign. And go ahead and save it. All right, so go ahead and minimize the web page. We've already added it. We don't need to do anything else here. And now on this action is heating up. Let's go ahead and add a column. So go ahead and right-click in here, go to Configure, go to your Search tab, and type in 200 day, or just 200. It'll probably show up. Now day, add day. There you go. So that 200-day SMA that he created is right there. It's U25. You can go ahead and show it as a column. You can also filter on it. I think the filtering that we already have is better than this. This is better for just a visual data point.
Well, I just added it as a column.
Yep, now hit OK. Stretch your window out, hit OK. Now stretch it out a little bit. And now he's added the 200-day SMA. So that's, there's so much stuff that you can do with the custom filters. That's just one of them, right? That's just one little variable, but the ability to manipulate the data and to use mathematical formulas on these different variables makes it incredibly powerful.
So by the way, IMUC just triggered my alert price that I put in for $195.
Going after hours, yeah.
Right, going after hours. So this is how it works. You can see everything that I've been saying. The software is like, okay, Dan, we got you. We're following you. Here you go. Here's your IMUC. Now get into it. And I'm like, sorry, I'm doing a webinar. I can't do that right now. It's starting to yell at me. Okay, but does that answer the question about the custom formulas? And in essence, a lot of our, let's say, more advanced users, they can have almost the whole window all in their custom formulas. Okay, so now just a quick scooch to the channel bar so that you can see that depending on what it is, you can usually find it in trade ideas. Raj, I'm going to answer your question in 1 second. That's a great question because, so Raj here said, well, what about somebody who doesn't have time to sit in front of the computer all day long? Now mind you, what Brad and I just showed with the custom formula and all that stuff, the way we have the software designed, it's not meant for people to necessarily sit in front of the computer all day. You could come in, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, or at lunchtime, and you will be able to still find these names. Now here, the movement happened in the morning, of course, and then it kind of settled in, but looked like from 146 to 2, gigantic percentage move, by the way, if you were still playing this overall trend. And that happens, again, not necessarily all at the same time. So you have different pockets of opportunities, and the way that we do that, the way that we help investors do that, is through our artificial intelligence. And what I'm going to do here is I made a little bit of a different layout for it, Brad, just a little kind of cleaner so that everyone can see. So we had showcased the fact that every stock now has support and resistance. And we have this artificial intelligence that basically picks stocks for you and also tells you how to maintain the profit, whether to cut your risk or stay in it and let it kind of ride the momentum. And these are the indicators that show you how to do that. So this AI, it's running all day long, okay? And all throughout the day, the idea is that find the statistically viable, significant, opportunistic trades and get into them. Every one of these trades, by the way, has long-term potential. Brad and I talk about this all the time. There is no statistical advantage in the one-day time frame. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is that you can day trade. There's no question about it. But it becomes a cacophony of feeling and momentum, and it takes a lot of time. But what we do at Trade Ideas is we try to get you into trades, not only today, of course, and still make money, but the trades that we're trying to get you into, our AI is thinking that they could go for a while. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. Here, of course, you can see that it's anticipating a breakout, which was very similar to what JPM did, JMP rather. Just above all of it, okay? Here's another one. Notice we talked about like what happens when the trend starts to revert back to the upside. So our software is always looking for those kinds of things. It wants to get you into a stock where the trend reverses and goes from negative to positive. But of course, how does it do that? Well, it keeps calculating, saying, well, now it looks pretty decent. And so that's what it looks like. And notice that on the charts, you can instantly see. So in this particular trade, it got in right here, and then it kind of ran for a while, and then the stock started to come back. And this is what the difference between risk on and risk off. Brad, I don't think we've even highlighted the color differentiation that often. Here you can see what the risk off time frame is. It's a little darker. And here's if you let the volatility work for you, and you can see why in this case things were risk off. Again, everything is labeled, and the idea is that this should help you kind of understand how odds work and help you follow it. Notice we're still getting you into times where there's quite a few minute opportunities to make money. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 50 minutes that this trade was actually up quite a bit before it fell back and then crept back up to even. So this AI is, in our opinion, the simplest yet most profound innovation for individual investors. It also goes short. So it's at the same time, it's practicing in both directions, and not, obviously, it will never be perfect, but in terms of making sophisticated investments and seeing how to manage them, there's just nothing else on the market that's quite like this, because it is really a combination of both, an education piece combined with the technology, because what we realize is that unless we teach the proper behavior, you're not going to be able to take advantage of that behavior going long term. So we kind of meld everything together. And now finally, to make it easier for you to work with the software, we've also created, I'll explain what this is, or I'll let Brad do it in a second, but let me show you what we've added. So what the software is doing now is it is in automated surf mode. It's going through the top 3 things where you need to focus your attention based on the proper sort. Now, all throughout the day, that sort maintains what we believe is the thing that the AI would want you to be focusing on. So hopefully the best AI trades. And of course, if you go to any channel, it'll continuously surf the whole thing. This way, you don't have to actually do anything to be aware visually of what's happening. And a lot of times it's just the visual awareness that needs to take place so that you can teach yourself subconsciously, like, oh, this stuff happens and how to do it. That to me is really the combination of everything coming together. Now, Brad, someone had asked, what is this chart on the left? Is that the question? I think Sean had asked that. So that's a chart of the AI P&L. Like, what did it look like to get to the 50 cents? And the 50 cents is, let me again make it easier for everyone to see. So here are all the trades in risk off. If you take all of this, this is the cent winners and losers, and if you add all of that together, you get 50 cents, and this is how it looked like. So it got up to like 78, and then a couple of losers.
Yeah, but it gives you that historical representation of your profitability.
That's right. And this is what risk on did, because risk on assumed that you were holding it the whole day. And here you had a big loser on the CERN short and on the Micron short. And again, you would have never been doing that because the software would have told you that it's risk off. So you can see why it knows to do it to save your money versus not. So David, all of these projections, again, whenever we get people into trades, there is the anticipation of the potential to be in it much longer than just one day. What we are in essence doing is we're trying to get you through the hardest part, which is the first initial day, because you want to be profitable. You don't want to, typically, like one of the easiest rules of thumb is don't be sitting in a loser. I mean, that's the basics. So we're trying to get you through that first hurdle, the hardest hurdle. Brad, are we all caught up?
Yeah, we are. David was the last one there that has been unanswered.
Okay. So let me jump back to the presentation. We were talking about our trading room, which we, of course, have Barry Anderson leading, free resource, highly recommended. Myself and Jamie Hodge, we do a podcast on Fridays, and often we have guests. So it's our notion that to really provide value here, it's not just suits and ties. You really want to get into the people aspect of it. Who's really trading and really fighting with the market or interacting with the market in the way that we know, our customers do. And we always try to come up with cool ideas and things like that to discuss. This is the pricing for our software. We're, of course, a subscription as a service business. And you have a monthly and annual rate for the basic, which is really powerful, still gives you that assist on every stock. And of course, our premium, where you can set alerts and basically follow the AI, is still only approximately $5.17 per day. And here's your little comparison between a medical degree and a latte. And I personally have both.
It's not a fair comparison.
A latte and trade, I like to do them together. Scott, is this the right promo code? Because it's possible.
Yes, that is the correct promo code.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, I don't. So yeah, so this Sizzle promo code gives you 15% off our first month or year off trade ideas. So it's a really nice way to save, and we appreciate people being here in the webinar listening to our stuff. Remember what that guy said, don't let your fear control you. We are providing AI virtual discretionary trading for the price of less than a coffee. It's kind of insane if you think about it. Very easy to get a hold of. We have a phone number, of course. You can send questions to myself. This is my direct email. If you want to send them to Brad, just change that name to Brad, B-R-A-D, no last name, just Brad. And info@trade-ideas.com. Please like us on Facebook. At tradeIdeas.com is more of our corporate Twitter account. Scott, was there anything that I missed? I feel like we covered it all.
I think you covered everything. The recording should be up a little bit later tonight. You'll get an email reminder tomorrow.
Maybe just a touch base that we do have an open house that's coming up. Scott, what is the day? Do we have that set yet?
July 17th, everyone will get notified. We'll start talking about it in the webinars later this week or next week.
Okay.
Just go to trade-ideas.com/test drive.
Got it. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Lots of exciting stuff in this new version, so get it and come join us. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.